What's up, everyone? This is Lane from Trend Friend. I just wanted to address a question that I see popping up a lot, which is how to change the time zone on your Tradingview charts. So it's super simple. You just come down here to the bottom right-hand corner, and if you hover over the time, you can see it says time zone. Go ahead and click on the time, and then you can set it to UTC plus or minus whatever you would like. Personally, I set mine to the New York time zone. The UTC number can change depending on whether we're in daylight savings time or not. So I always just set mine to the New York time because then my charts are always synced up to the 9:30 a.m. New York open and 4 p.m. New York close. So these are the regular trading hours where most of the volume and price movement is going to come in. So this is where retail traders, as well as all the hedge funds and everything, are going to step in. You can see price usually goes wild right after that 9:30 open. So these are the hours that I personally recommend you set your chart to. And if you just click that New York one, then you will always be anchored to those correct times, and you'll know that when it says 9:30, that's when the market is going to open, and 4 p.m. is when it's going to close. Now you can still trade outside of those times. There's just going to be less volume and less price movement. And typically when price wants to like break out and, have a large move to the upside or downside, a lot of times that happens during regular trading hours. So be careful of that if you're trading outside of regular hours. But another thing that you could do, you can set this to whatever time zone you'd like, of course, but you can also set it to exchange if you'd like. And I'll show you what that does. That's going to sync this to whatever exchange it's on. So you can see that switch to UTC -6, even though New York is set to UTC -5 currently. And that's because NQ is at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and that's in Chicago, you can see, which is -6. Now, if I switch to SPY, it goes back to UTC -5 because that's at the New York Stock Exchange, which is in New York. Crypto is typically going to be set to just UTC because they're open 24/7, and they don't operate on just normal New York trading hours. And then you can see if you go to Nifty, that one I believe is over in India, and that one's set to UTC plus 530. Apple, that's also at the NASDAQ, which is in New York, so it switches to time zone 5. But I personally just keep mine on New York. So that way I am always synced up to the New York trading time. And I always know that right at my charts 9:30 and 4 p.m., those are the regular trading hours. Same with, if you guys watch YouTube tutorials or something and people are talking about the New York Open, that's going to be this 9:30 New York time. And then the close at 4 p.m. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. Thanks.